This is
Make It Plain.
Make It Plain.
MIP
With Masamela Matfumo.
Mark Thompson.
Make It Plain.
Get woke.
Habari gani, one and all, happy Kwanzaa. This first day of Kwanzaa 2022. And we're honored every year we have the opportunity to speak with our very special guest because he is the creator of Kwanzaa and the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, author of the authoritative text titled Kwanzaa, a celebration of family, community, and culture. He is also professor and chair of the Department of AfricanaStudies at California State University, Long Beach. He is chair of the organization US and the National Association of Kawaida Organizations, executive director of the African American Cultural Center and the Kawaida Institute of Pan-African Studies, and also co-chair of the Black Community Clergy and Labor Alliance. The author as well of numerous articles and books, including essays on struggle, position and analysis, Kawaida and questions of life and struggle, Ma'at, the moral ideal in ancient Egypt, a study in classical African ethics, the Introduction to Black Studies, 4th edition, the Husia, Sacred Wisdom of Ancient Egypt, Odu Ifa, the Ethical Teachings. And he is currently writing a major work on the social and ethical philosophy of Malcolm X entitled The Liberation Ethics of Malcolm X, Critical Consciousness, Moral Grounding, and Transformative Struggle. He is the recipient of numerous awards for scholarship, leadership, and service, including Paul Robeson Zora Neale Hurston Award for Scholarly Work of African World Culture and the C.L.R. James Award for Outstanding Publication of Scholarly Works that Advance the Discipline of Africana and Black Studies, and the Presidential Award for Exemplary Service and Outstanding Contribution to the Field of Black Studies, all from the National Council for Black Studies. And he is also the subject of the book written by Dr. Molefi Asante entitled Maulana Karenga, an Intellectual Portrait. We have him here today on this first day of Kwanzaa. Umoja is the first day of Kwanzaa, and we remind everyone on each day, we greet one another with the greeting Habari Gani, which means what's the news? And we respond with the greeting for today. Today is Umoja, the black candle right in the middle, which means to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. What is the meaning of Umoja in 2022, this 56th year of Kwanzaa? We welcome the creator, Dr. Maulana Karenga. Habari gani, Dr. Karenga?
Very much, Mela. Thanks for the invitation, and Heri za Kwanzaa to you. It's happy Kwanzaa. I say Heri za Kwanzaa to African people everywhere throughout the world, African community on every continent in the world. Millions of people coming together on these 7 days to celebrate family, community, and culture. And we start these greetings, and then we send these greetings also when we say to African people all over the world, we send it also to all people of goodwill, especially those oppressed and struggling people, to expand the realm of human freedom in the world. And this year, we send all Kwanzaa greetings of celebration, solidarity, and continuing struggle for a shared good world, as Kwanzaa suggests. And we, in the words of our ancestors, say for them, we wish for you all things good and pure, all that heaven grants, the earth produces, and the waters bring forth from their depths. Kwanzaa is a special time for remembrance, reflection, and recommitment. And one of the things we recommit to is the Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, the hub and hinge on which the holiday of Kwanzaa turns. And that first principle is Umoja, a principled and peaceful and purposeful togetherness. This Nguzo Saba, the 7 principles, begin with the principle of Umoja for a reason. Because without Umoja, without unity, nothing else is possible, right? And so in my text, Kwanzaa, a celebration of family, community, and culture, It states that the principle of Umoja calls on us to strive for unity, to strive for and maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. That is the world African community. Umoja, the principle, encourages us within us a profound sense of relatedness, togetherness, and oneness in the small and larger circles of our lives. It fosters a spirit of togetherness and moral sensitivity, which encourages us to avoid injuring each other and the world, and to eagerly work and struggle for the common good, African and human good, and the well-being of the world. Indeed, the principle of unity reminds us of the ancient ethical teachings of Odu Ifa that says the greatest good comes from our gathering together in harmony, whether in family, friendship, community, society, or the world. And this, too, the principle of unity teaches us. We live in a web and world of interdependence, as Nana Martin Luther King Jr. taught us, and that freedom and dignity are interdependent, and that the well-being of the world and other goods are interdependent, and they must be shared for everyone. It teaches us that freedom is indivisible, justice is indivisible, that all good, that is the greatest good, comes from gathering together in harmony. If there's to be any peace, if there's to be any justice, if there's to be any security for anyone in the world, we must practice the principle of Umoja. In addition, the principle of Umoja teaches us to act always in ways that reinforce the bonds between us, in ways that bring us closer in mutually beneficial relations based on our being of each other, with each other, and for each other. Sometimes we might know we're of each other, but we might not be with each other or for each other. So Umoja teaches us not only to be together, be with each other, but to be for each other, right? That's a very important principle here. It urges us to hold our relationships together under the stress and strain of daily life, especially in this time of COVID-19. It tells us to hold together as families and friends, as co-workers, as allies in struggle, and as members of the local, national, and global African community. And the principle of unity teaches us also to feel a sense of oneness with and responsibility to each other, humanity, and the world. And it's very important for us to have a sense of relatedness to humanity and the world in this time of increasing environmental degradation, which would take a human response. And it tells us, as the ancient African sacred text tells us, that we're not just human beings, we're world beings. In Swahili, you have two words for the human being, Watu, which is people, and then Walimwengu, which is world being. So we are human being, Watu human being, but we are also Walimwengu, world being. And the text teaches us to walk humbly and gently in the world, to act justly and relate rightfully, and walk humbly in the world. This principle also calls on us to think deeply and meaningfully, then, about the interrelatedness of life on which our existence and development as persons, peoples, and the world depend. And it teaches us to act accordingly. Indeed, one of the greatest challenges of our time is to build communities, societies, and a world whose principles and daily practices respect, sustain, and enrich life rather than disperse, diminish, and destroy. We must not disrespect life. I think now of our ancestor Nana Anajuju Cooper, who said, we take our stand on the oneness of life, the solidarity of humanity, and the unnaturalness, she said, the unnaturalness and injustice of all favoritism, whether of gender, class, country, or condition. So whether it's race or class or gender or sexuality, religion, age, ability, we must always feel a sense of oneness and not division. We must talk about unity as both a principle and practice. And all of these principles in the final analysis must become practices if they are to reach the ultimate reality and meaning they must have for us. We say practice proves and makes possible everything. It's in the practice of unity and all the other principles that the principles become a lived and living tradition.
Happy Kwanzaa this first day, folks. Umoja. Habari gani. Respond with the principle Umoja. We're happy to have Dr. Karenga with us. He'll be back with us tomorrow for day 2 of Kwanzaa. Habari gani.
Ciao, Nana.
Thanks for getting woke and listening to Make It Plain. As always, perform an act of kindness on behalf of an elder or young person. Write a letter to a sister or brother who just so happens to find her or himself incarcerated. Offer libations to the ancestors upon whose sturdy shoulders we all now stand. And above all, give thanks to the God of your understanding by whatever name you call her and him. All God asks of us is that we give each other love. Thanks for giving MIP love. And please remember to subscribe and give us a 5-star rating. If all hearts and minds are clear, it has been made plain.